Gonna come,
Good fam, what's good? We're back with a match day review show with Murray from the PE Supporters Club after a very, very intense, emotional West Ham London derby at the Emirates. So yeah, we can get straight into it. Murray, how did you feel? We won 2-1 at home, but it was a tough one.
It was definitely a tough one. I'm looking back on last season or previous seasons, we would have probably lost that game or drawn that game. So I think it shows the character of the guys and what Arteta's actually instilled into them. You know, that fighting spirit. That we dug deep and we played until the full 90 minutes, and we managed to get the goal right at the end, and that's the most important. We didn't concede too many. I think we got very lucky. But it was a very off day for us, and the fact that it was quite an off day, we still got the points. I think that's a victory for us.
Yeah, no, definitely. We didn't look as settled as we thought we would at home. So let's break down the game a bit. We can start with maybe like the starting lineup, which showed Tierney at the beginning and unfortunately got a knock, and then Kolasinac came in. So do you think like the Kolasinac kind of change and Saka kind of change made things different with like a new three pairing, a centre back pairing, a new three with Kolasinac, Gabriel, and Holden. Also, Ceballos introduction. Where do you think, like in the first half, because we didn't look good first 15, 20 minutes, and we settled in, and then towards the end. So maybe you can just give me a rough, where did we lose the game in places, and where did we actually excel in certain areas?
I think it was right from the beginning. I think the whole game plan changed when Kieran was, had to hobble off during warm up. The whole game plan will change now because you've got another player in there. Kolasinac isn't exactly as great as what Kieran is, and he can't do what Kieran can do. So Arteta probably had to change the tactics slightly. But the guys just looked all over the place. The defenders, they just weren't defending as smoothly as what they could. I think we got lucky with the handball appeal. That came off Gabriel. But even our attackers, the passes just weren't as crisp. Willian didn't have a good game compared to the first game of the season. But it just didn't go smoothly, and it didn't go as planned for anybody. I would have maybe put Saka right at the back because he's used to that position of left back. And then maybe possibly put Willian or somebody else on the left, and change it up a little bit. But it was a little bit difficult, and I think Saka wasn't really tracking back. I think that was the problem in the first goal. Kolasinac was struggled a little bit, to cover the runner, and Saka was really taking his time to get back. Meanwhile, he could have come back and defended, but he was all over the place. Thankfully, he did, provide the through ball to Danny to provide to get the assist. But it wasn't the best game that I've seen under Arteta, and I think Arteta also acknowledged that. And hopefully, we can improve for not only Leicester but for Liverpool in a week's time.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think you're right. Like it was really, really tough, and our play just wasn't up to par. But a bit on Saka, and like we'll talk about the goal. So obviously the first goal was Lacazette's goal, brilliant goal. I think Saka put Aubameyang through, and then it was a header, which was a cutback and a header. And then the goal against us was kind of like a counter-attacking play, and as you said, Antonio, which we kind of controlled the half towards the end, and then we lost it in that last minute. And then they'll talk about the second half where we lost the game, to be fair, from I would say 55 to 75. You could say we weren't there. Midfield wasn't really there. We didn't really show any promise, and West Ham were really coming at us with Antonio with these headers and a few fumbles from Leno. Just to recap, and then that goal by Nketiah with Saka. So yeah, just to give us a recap on your takes on the goals and that second half spell where we weren't there, and then we came back into the game. What do you think brought us back in?
Well, I think the goal right at the end of the first half gave West Ham the boost. to come out in the second half and really try and push to get a second goal. I think that already put us on the back foot. Arsenal don't do well when a team concedes just before half time. It breaks their mentality completely. But I think where we started, I don't even know if we did improve in the second half, to be very honest. Look, the defense was all over the place, but we managed to grind out, if I could say, a clean sheet in the second half. But, like I say, the passing was just absolutely terrible. The defense, there seemed to be no communication. And our play was slow. I mean, we were welcoming West Ham onto us, and, we weren't picking up the pace. And as soon as we did start picking up the pace, around about, maybe the 75th minute, just before our goal, West Ham were really struggling, and you could see they were a little bit tired. I don't know if that was a tactic of Arteta. I don't know if that was just to, try force the play. But credit to West Ham. I mean, they defended extremely well. We couldn't break the line. My concern is that we're becoming a little bit too predictable when it comes to certain attacks, and especially playing out from the back. I mean, there was an instance, I think it was in the first or second half, where Aubameyang tried to cut back, do his normal cut back and then shoot for the far corner. And the West Ham defenders just waited because they saw he was going to cut back. And as he cut back, they were already there, ready to close him down. So I'm hoping he's got a little bit more in his arsenal, and I'm sure he does, or his armory. But yeah, I think it was a very difficult half and a very difficult game for us. And I think that was shown by Arteta's massive smile at the end of the game, or at the final whistle. So yeah, no, I couldn't really see that many positives. I think the only positive is that we really defended as a unit. But even though it was sloppy, we ground out the victory, and I think that's what champions are made of. It doesn't always have to be a clean game, and I'm not saying we're going to go on and win the championship, but you look at last season's champions. Liverpool did the same. They got their winner for a 2-1 victory or something like that in like the 88 minutes or even in extra time. The fact of the matter is they never gave up, and that's the one thing that I did see in the guys. They didn't give up. They didn't let their heads down. Under Emery, I think we would have lost the game. We would have probably conceded 1 or 2 right in the 9 minutes, or even in the second half. But we stuck to our guns. We put our heels in. We were patient, and it paid dividends. So yeah, hopefully not so much as more of the same, but we can keep that mentality and try build on it going forward into our future games.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that the fight towards the last dying minutes of the game showed that we're not the same Arsenal as before. But I just want to talk about West Ham. As much as we say we played bad, but they actually did a really good job. I think they came out with a plan, and it was executed quite well because they boxed our midfield, put pressure on our defense, and then got everybody back when we were attacking. As you said, they studied Aubameyang, they cut off the play, and I think maybe with Tierney missing and a few other guys, we weren't doing the stuff that we normally could do. We didn't have the versatility because our wing backs didn't really do anything for us in the game. I think maybe Saka at times, but other than that, there wasn't much play. So it was mostly Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ceballos towards the end. So what do you think this win would do for us, considering how well West Ham was set up against us? Because Moyes is an experienced coach, and Arteta was still inexperienced. So tactically, he got trumped, but he came out at the end of the day. And yeah, that goal by Eddie Nketiah, I saw on groups, people why is he bringing Eddie on? What's he going to do? And 10 minutes later, it's his profile picture, Eddie Nketiah. So it changes like that we don't know if it's a tactical masterclass or just to keep the energy up. Because you saw Eddie when he came on. He's not phenomenal, but he runs, he moves, he just keeps going. So I think the energy was dying towards the end, and maybe when bringing him on helped us get towards the line. But what do you think this win is going to do for us in terms of confidence? Look, we didn't play well. We had a bad game. Everyone said it, even Arteta said it. We weren't up to par today. So obviously getting the win, 3 points, first game at home. What do you think this means for us in the bigger picture going into the next few games?
I think it's something that Arteta's probably going to look back on, and he's probably going to keep referring to it. Telling the guys that they can dig deep, telling the guys that the Emirates is a fortress. No one takes points from us. And that's one of the things that he said he was actually going to instill, when he came to the Emirates. He wanted to make it a fortress. But I think the energy definitely picked up a little bit. I think as soon as Pepe came on, the back line opened up slightly because I think they were too busy marking him. But, you bring Pepe and Eddie on, and that whole energy in the front just picks up. I think, I didn't really like the fact that Zaka and Danny were in the midfield together. It forced Zaka to sit back and sit as a holding midfielder. And that's not exactly his position. He needed to get forward. He needed to provide the ball. That's why Zaka and El Nani work. El Nani sort of sits back. He stands firm. He's that wall in front of the defense, and it works. But I think this is definitely going to lift the guys. As I said, they ground out the victory, which is important. And I'm hoping, they're going to do that against the big teams. They're not going to go there. They're going to forget the handbrake at home. I was just a bit disappointed that, we got treated like that at the Emirates, and we didn't play our normal fluid game at the Emirates, but we kept the points at the Emirates. And I think that's the most important thing. And, the more we win those type of victories where we would have lost in the past, it's going to instill confidence, and it's going to instill that winning mentality, and it's going to breed confidence, and the guys are going to want more. And that's the most important thing. That is what Arsenal has been lacking. We didn't really have that under Emery. We went on like a 2-game winning run, and then next thing we lost or we drew. And I think we put in the power in our hands. We can't rely on referee calls anymore. This handball rule and the penalty rule I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we have to really be careful in the box. And look, our defense has always been shaky, but even though it was a bit shaky and it was a bit all over the place, we still managed to keep, I could say, a clean sheet in the second half. We didn't concede as of a sloppy goal than what we normally would have. And Leno, I'm just hoping he can stay fit and he can, see the season through, keep a couple of more clean sheets. And I think maybe we've got a chance of possibly top 4. And if we can take points from, the Liverpools and the Cities and Chelsea, I think, maybe we can then pose a threat to the title, but we have to win these games. That is the most important thing. And, West Ham haven't won a game, so their backs were against the wall. They wanted to prove something at Arsenal, considering it's his derby. But we took the points, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's what we needed. And I think, as you said, in prior seasons or a few months ago, we were not taking 3 points. We would have been comfortable with the draw or even lost it towards the end. So positive signs. But in terms of the performance, do you think now in the transfer market, just to go a bit off, but do you think now it plays more role for us to get Partry and Owa? I think his name is Owa, but the Leon player, or I would say a more holding or more Patrick Vieira style, because it felt that nobody had that control in that midfield, absorb the pressure, run the ball out, feed it to a playmaker, maybe a 10 or whatever, and then he distributes to our front line. Do you think like this game kind of showed that in these types of games we need those 2 types of players, and hopefully they push to get these guys in? Or how did you feel, or what would you change in order for us to have done better in West Ham? Where do you think we lacked?
Well, let's put it this way. If we don't sign these 2 players by the end of the week, I'll be quite disappointed and be quite confused. We definitely need some creativity, and we definitely need a holding midfielder. Partry is going to be that central defensive midfielder that we can bring on. Currently at the moment, all we'll have is Torreira or David Luiz, but then David Luiz will then sit back in the central defensive, as a centre back. We need him to be in the actual midfield. And, does he still remember how to play in the midfield? Is he going to cause fouls? We don't know. So we'll need Partry there to buff up our midfield a bit. And we need to get supply to Aubameyang, and not only Aubameyang, we need Lacazette to come into the picture. He did, thankfully. And, we need our wingers as well. Willian, I'm hoping that he's not only going to be looking for an opportunity to assist. I think he's got to be looking for goals as well. Wednesday, we're going to have to start Pepe. He needs a run in. He needs a full 90 minutes under his belt. Maybe an assist or a decent pass or some good runs would get his confidence up. but we need all guys firing on deck, and we need that creative midfielder. Look, taking nothing away from Zaka, I think the long balls work, but I think something that these two players that we're eyeing in the market, we have to take them. I mean, we don't have a choice. We've got Ozil, but Ozil's not playing, so clearly we're going to need some other midfielder to provide ball. Otherwise, we're going to be just defending and hoping that we can counter attack. And for me, that the only thing that reminds me of is Spurs. I mean, they sit back. Okay, excluding today's result of 5-4.
And all of those are counter-attack goals, to be fair,
Well, you see, there we go. And, that's not the Arsenal way. And I don't believe that Arteta would want us to sit back. He wants us to play attractive football and attacking football. So, yeah, I think on Wednesday, play the youngsters. But I think we need to wrap up these transfers by the end of the week and hopefully then take these guys to, get them in a good training session. With the lads, and then take them to Anfield, and hopefully then they can show, and we can show exactly what we're made of against the current champions or big side, with our full strength squad.
Yeah, no, definitely. So you want both of them? There's no either or.
We have to. I think if we're going to build, I think up front we've got the depth. Martinelli will probably come back at the end of the season, so that's going to be like a new signing in January. Our defense, I think we sorted with defense. Maybe keep Kolasinac for these Carling Cup games or for the FA Cup, and just give him a run. Rest Tierney. I think defense will be fine when it comes to the depth. Midfield we're going to be short. Arteta's going to need to find out: is he going to play Niles in the back, or is he going to play him in the midfield? If it's going to be in the midfield, then we need to give him game time in the midfield, because we can't just throw him in one day and then just hope for the best. I haven't even seen Willock. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Willock, so I don't know if he's now taking a back foot. Gunduzi as well. What's happening with him? Are we going to sell him? Because if we are going to sell him, let's get rid of him now, and then let's bring those two players in that can get us into the top four, get us into Champions League, and let's then bring in bigger players, and we can really make a stand in European football than football in the world.
Yeah, no, I like that. I also think we should get both of them because we are short. I was looking at City, United, and Liverpool's midfield, like just the 5 players they have. And they have depth, and I feel with us, we lack the creativity and strength. We don't have that strength player, like that guy that just bodies Yaya Toure. And I think, as you said, like with West Ham, if you noticed the game, which you probably did, you saw how they threw people back 4-4, like their lines was 5 or 3, when they were defending. And as you said, the creative aspect, nobody can unlock that. And we're going to see that a lot more as we try to impose our style. We're never going to, as you said, sit back and absorb, only with the big teams maybe, if we can't outplay them. But like with West Ham, we were going at them, but we couldn't get past that final third. And as you said, it's critical because that's where we lacked, and also getting it from our defense to the final third. They actually handled that. But Declan Rice was quite good. Antonio was quite good, and it's sad I enjoyed the game because it was like a heavyweight bout, it's like blow for blow, but it really like took a bit of confidence away, but brought it back because we got the 3 points and it showed the fight. So I thought I think all of us thought we were seeing some Emirates stuff because towards 55, 60, the heads were down, they weren't making tackles. So you're like, just please do something, So, but also, like, it was a tough game, and I'm glad we got the result. But I think, I don't know if you can point out, but do you have a player, a man of the match, or a person that performed outright for you? And do you have like maybe the weakest player, like who you think didn't perform to expectations last night?
It's very difficult to say. If it has to be an Arsenal man of the match, no one really stood out to me like wow, they had a good game. Danny, I think, if anything, I would definitely say Danny. I can remember him in the midfield, in those lines, like going back and forth, running up and down the line, trying to find a gap just to try and get a through ball. But credit to West Ham. I think we were lucky when, I think someone said that Gabriel was man of the match or something like that. And I think we were lucky with that because I felt that possibly Antonio or Declan Rice or, one of the West Ham guys should have actually been man of the match. And credit to West Ham. They did extremely well, but I would have to say in our team, Danny was probably my man of the match. Just for his energy. It looked like he had a point to prove. He wanted to get the win, and he got the assists, which led to the win. So great for him. Person who didn't perform, I think, definitely Willian. There was so much hype about him coming through, and you can't unfortunately only have one decent game a month, or I'm not even going to say against the smaller teams, because Fulham took it to Leeds yesterday, and West Ham is also, if you could sort of say, a fairly small team. So we shouldn't be going head to head and with these guys and just scraping a win. We should be way above the league, but we got the win. I think Willian needs to improve. Let's give Pepe a chance. Maybe Pepe will start against Liverpool. It seems like he enjoys playing against Liverpool. So yeah, let's see what happens, and yeah, we can only hope that everything picks up.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to call. I think I don't know if maybe without the captain Noble, the midfield just stepped up. I don't know with West Ham, but
too.
With us, it's as you said, Gabriel was. I don't know. I also felt he had a good job, but there was chances where he could have also cost us. But I think he's fitting into the role quite well, and it'll just take a bit of time. It was, I don't know, it was like to the knife's edge. But yeah, we got it done and dusted. So now the next two games we have Leicester in the Carabao Cup and Liverpool on Monday. How are you feeling about those two games coming up? Do you think we can get the results there?
Carabao Cup, it's not one of the the greatest competitions in England, but I enjoy the cup simply because then we can bring the youth through and give them a bit of a run and get match time underneath them. It's just a bit unfortunate that we've got Leicester. I don't know what Leicester's policy is when it comes to the Carabao Cup, so I don't know if they're going to field Vardy and all of their big guys. But going into the the next Premier League game, we've got Liverpool, and Liverpool in the Carabao Cup have got Lincoln City. So I think they're going to rest their full strength first team squad. Possibly then give Jota a bit of a run and Thiago a bit of a run in the midfield, just to warm the legs up, and then they will be fresh or fresher for us. Let's put it that way. If we do beat Leicester and if Liverpool beat Lincoln, then we've got to play them. So it's not going to be an easy route. You look at the fixtures and you can say, okay, October is going to be a tough month for us, but it's all these other competitions that do come up. So Arteta's going to have to manage their squad, or our squad, very, very well. I think in the Carabao Cup, Macy will probably start. I think give the lad a bit of a run. Let's use our, let's put Louise in the back. Let's sort of see, if he is fit enough, just get him a bit of a run under his belt. Let's play Saliba, or even let's play Gabriel and Saliba. Let's see what their partnership is all about. Possibly at the back, play Maitland-Niles. Let's give him a run. On the left, let's play Kolschnak again. I mean, he's got an engine for days. Let's give the defenders that we don't normally give a bit of a run. Let's play Willock. Let's play Danny again, or even El Nani. Let's see what they can do. Put Pepe in. On the left, put Saka in. I mean, he needs some game time. He had a terrible game yesterday. And then up front, let's put Eddie. Let's see what he has to do, and then put the youngsters on the bench. And then Liverpool, then you've got everybody fresh. We're not using a first team player. If we do use a first team player, at least then they've had some run underneath their belts, and you can put them on the bench. But man, the games are going to be difficult. I don't know if we're playing at home or away. I know the Liverpool game. Is it? So now we've got 2 away games. And I don't know, I think Arteta must be just sort of planning ahead and trying to manage his team. Give Aubameyang a rest. Let's do some tactical training with the guys. Lacazette, give him a rest as well. But Anfield's going to be terrible. I'm glad the fans aren't there yet, because they would have given us stick, and they would have really lifted Liverpool. So hopefully we can make it three wins in a row against Liverpool, and And I think that's also going to be in the back of their mind. So whether or not they're going to want to get revenge, that's the next thing. But I'm looking forward to see what happens against Chelsea. I think that's going to be a test for Liverpool. If they lose, I think we're going to be really motivated to, really put a dent in their title hopes. I know it's only the third; it would have been the third game in, but I mean that's going to affect them psychologically. And if we can get something from them, even if it's a draw, I think that'll be great for us. It's going to be a huge confidence lifter.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, let's play the youngsters
To get
again
a result at Anfield, I think it will be. We need that kind of confidence booster in
and
our
we
lives.
can do it, and we can really do it. I mean, Liverpool look shaky against Leeds. They look shaky against us in the Community Shield.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there's more to come from us. I'm just hoping we don't play it again like we played against West Ham against them, because then I think they're going to bury us.
Definitely.
They're going to take their chances. So we need to be clinical, and we need to be, perfect.
I think you made a good point there. I think we should start players that haven't played much, because we need to get them into like match readiness, not fitness. Like, you get your touches nice, smooth, kind of
The alertness.
play. Yeah. And I think Kolasinac, it was okay, it was bad, and I don't like to hate on him, but you could see he just wasn't in that match readiness kind of touch.
Yeah.
His touches were poor. So I think it will take, and I think maybe the Leicester game will be a good part to iron out those things going into Liverpool. But lastly, before we end, obviously the goal was amazing, like that second goal by Eddie Nketiah. He really saved us. But how big was it that it was a Danny Ceballos assist, because of the whole tiff, and the media likes to make a big thing of it. But how special is it for us as fans to see that, like these guys have a little tiff, and then next game they end up being the winning assist, being the winning goal scorer, and maybe that tackle kind of helped their little relationship there, So from a fan, how do you feel about it?
Well, I don't know if I'm like one of those die-hard optimistic fans, but I actually forgot about the tiff. Only until afterwards, I was like, oh yeah, they actually had a tiff, but they kept everything very quiet. And then they came out. Eddie said at the end of it, he's like, yeah, no, I didn't enjoy the tackle. We made up there and then, and then that was it. They moved on. And I think Ian Wright said that's how it's supposed to be. When the incident happens, you make up for it. You let it go, and that's it. And I watched the highlights again today, and Danny's pass was pinpoint. I mean, Fabianski was so close to intercepting that ball, and it could have gone so differently. And I mean, we would have been hating on Danny had that cross not gone through. But it was so pinpoint. I mean, Eddie, we saw, just had to follow through and
slightly, and he sees right there. It was it was.
It. But I mean, but Saka also had that opportunity. It's that match sharpness that we were talking about now, where he broke through, and had he hit it across first time, Pepe could have gone in and then done exactly the same as what Eddie did. So we could have actually won 3-1 to my predictions. But at the same time, we could have also lost, 3-1. I mean, if West Ham had got that equalizer or that winning goal to the second goal, who knows how we would have been? How do we respond from that? We haven't really been down. So that, I think, is also going to be a big test, that when we concede first, how will we react? And I know, Guardiola and Arteta, and it's known that, or they've said that Arsenal are the most dangerous when we concede first. But, with this team, with Arteta, I'm hoping that we are going to come out guns blazing. But we need to get the tactics right, and the guys need to perform. They need to, get rid of past demons. They need to get rid of all that mental insecurities or whatever the case may be. And they need to pick up, and they say, like Aubameyang says, he wants to leave a legacy. It starts now. They've got to lay the foundation, and they've got to start attracting bigger players by the way that we're playing, beating the bigger teams. And I think that's going to start now on next week, Monday, against Liverpool at Anfield. If we can take them, win 3-1, 2-1, just a victory, take the 3 points away from the champions, I think that's going to send a statement to the whole Premier League. And, then it's going to be 3 for 3. Who's next? Man City's in October. I think we've got a bit of a stiff run, but if our October's pretty good, it sets us up for our bogey month of November. and hopefully we can continue to get the points against the smaller teams where we should be winning.
Maybe this, yeah, no, definitely. I think maybe this result or this kind of performance was a blessing in disguise for the build up to the run that we're going to have. Maybe it addresses the problems, because at Fulham we couldn't pick an issue. Now it's like,
Yeah.
look how long it is, we're still picking issues. So I think it's good. I think, as you said, I think Liverpool will be our first real main test, and if we can pass that or even get through that comfortably, I think, yeah, it's season on, huh? It's season on. So a lot of good football to look forward to. But Murray, thank you once again for insightful review show.
Thank you.
I think you broke down the match quite nicely. Just before we go, when are you guys back at your supporters bar?
Well, we are planning on our AGM. So if you check our social media pages, you'll see the dates that we have proposed. We're not only setting a date, we would like as many people and interested people or members, non-members to come through. We would love to hear from them what we can do to propel our club forward. And then we're going to share our ideas as to what we have potentially lined up for them. But the next time we will be back at our home at Eddie Max will probably be for the Sheffield game. That will be our next home game. But for the Liverpool game, we will go to the Liverpool supporters, and then we're gonna raise the roof on their place. Win or lose, we'll raise the roof.
As Arsenal fans do, eh?
That's it.
And it's exciting. Yeah, I know. We'll definitely keep close to the socials and obviously share everything. And then, yeah, hopefully we hear more about some exciting stuff you guys are doing. But thanks again. It's Murray from the PE Supporters Club giving us his review after the 2-1 close call win at the Emirates against West Ham. So it's me, Kish. It's Guna Karsese. We out. Cheers.